Okay. So those who are aware, that is very good. Those who are not aware, probably I will be going to talk about these terms, very basic terms these are, but everybody should be on the same page. So I will be completing all of these things from the very scratch. In the last demo, there was a demo last week, right? Couple of people were there also, I could see. So we have talked about the WAF. And when we are saying about WAF, this is a very generic term. WAF means a very generic term. And the WAF full form is Web Application Firewall. I also would like to talk about when we are saying about Big IP ASM module, we are especially talking about layer 7 applications only. So in that case, those who are aware about TMOS architecture, those who are aware about LTM part, you are aware that virtual server having the layer 7 traffic should have one profile. What is that profile? Anybody? For layer 7, what profile?
HTTPS.
Yes, it should be HTTP profile, HTTP or HTTPS, whatever you say. And since we have the profile dependency, for HTTP profile to be in place, there should be one more profile. Anybody?
TCP.
Yes. So we should be having TCP for HTTP profile. It cannot be the case that you are not using the TCP profile and using the HTTP profile directly. That can't be the case. Now, when we are talking about web application firewall or layer 7, okay, application module, then the very first thing is the profiles. Okay, it means when I will show you the lab in my virtual server, there should be HTTP profile to make it work. Only then I can apply the security policy. Otherwise, those people who are already working on ASM, they must be aware this kind of, there can be, interview question also. Sometimes people used to see that, okay, have you ever worked on or no? So for the same, what they ask that, okay, on the virtual server, I cannot see the option of the security policy to be enabled. Why? And you need to give the answer that HTTP profile should be missing. If HTTP profile is not there, then you cannot apply the security policy. Okay, because it is layer 7 module. Okay, now we already talked about that Big IP is an product family. Okay, you should be aware that F5 Networks is the company name. I will not take much time of yours for explaining about the same. F5 Networks is the company name. They have one of the product suite named as Big IP product family. I will be going to talk about this, that ASM is one of the module like LTM, like GTM, like GTM, like APM, AFM. Lot of products are there. We will not be going to talk about all, but today we will be going to focus on the ASM module. Very robust module. Let me say you traditional layer 3 to layer 4, whatever firewalls we have. They do a very great job. I will not say no. Okay, but preventing a lot of attacks. But when it comes to the layer 7 attacks, I will be going to talk about a couple of the attacks today also. And I will be going to show you about some of the, maybe with example as well. Okay. So layer 7 attack, when it comes on the layer 7 attack, at that time, we required some robust kind of module. And in F5, that module is ASM. Okay. So I am talking about two terms, WAF. WAF is Web Application Firewall. And in F5, what is WAF? That is ASM, Application Security Manager. So that is the WAF of F5. So in 2004, if I'm not wrong, in 2004, ASM was developed and came in the market. Okay. And in 2018, there are a lot of enhancement done on the ASM module. Okay. Licensing partner, lot of things. And from then, now the company strategy to sell this product is they are giving the name like F5 Advanced. They used to say it Advanced. Let me tell you, when we are saying about two different terms, there it means that company have provided some kind of enhancement also. So there are lot of features which are added when we are talking about advanced web. So there are couple of the features set which are added when we are talking about ASM or F5 advanced web or simple ASM module or the advanced web module. Okay, lot of features. If I will talk about some of them, like unlimited layer 7 behavioral DOS, they used to say, data set they used to say. There is something named as OWASP compliance board. But don't worry, these features will come into the picture, or maybe I will say they will be more relevant to you once you have some foundations with you. Okay, before that foundation, probably it's not good time to talk about those features right away on this slide. We will be gonna talk about those features, but later on. Let me proceed. So as I was talking earlier, Big IP is your product suite from F5 networks, and there are lot of products over there. And when I am talking about such a huge product family, the very first, or maybe I will say the base is LTM, local traffic management. Now, if someone in the class are there who don't know about the F5 LTM, and they will say, may I learn the ASM directly? Yes or no? Because I want to go for the security. I will say yes also, and I will say no also. Reason for the yes is that you need not to understand each and every fundamental what we teach in the LTM. The reason for the no is because you should be aware about couple of the things, like what is virtual server, what is pool, what is pool member, okay, what is LTP, local traffic policy. Probably those who were in the LTM batch, I will be gonna touch that part again. Okay, maybe we forget to talk about this part in our LTM class, but I will be gonna talk about this in the ASM first class. So you should be aware about couple of little bit components of ASM. Only then you could be able to forward and learn more about the ASM module. So that is how we will be gonna proceed when we talk about all of this stuff. Now, one thing, the TMOS architecture, which we talked from along, that when we are talking about any of the F5 product, there is one term introduced, that is full proxy. Full proxy is nothing. Full proxy is something which is the combination of forward proxy and reverse proxy. So what is forward proxy? Anybody would like to talk about it?
Yes, when user wants to access the internet, that is a forward proxy, and when client wants to access the web server over the internet, that is a reverse proxy.
You are right. We can just take the consideration as such that when we need to hide the clients, okay, hide the clients. Those clients, when going to the internet, you are hiding the identity, you wanted to add the filtering, you wanted to do a lot of things. That is named as forward proxy. But when you have some kind of web services, you are providing the web services, and you want to hide the web services, okay, you don't want to disclose what are the actual IP of your web servers. Probably you want to make some more security before reaching my request to the web server. That is something named as reverse proxy. So packet based design is the simple design. When your request is generated from the client and it is destined to your server directly, that is your packet based. But in the case of big IP, or especially I will talk about the ASM module, because we need to talk about the ASM. it will be acting as the full proxy. Full proxy means connection will be get proxy. And since your connection is proxy, you will be having two connections now. Okay. The first connection is between the client and between the F5, and the second connection between the F5 to the server. So you can see there are two parts, 1 and 2. And let me tell you, if you have a client, this client need to go to one of the website, let us say abc.com. So this client need to go to the www.abc.com. The request will go to the client, from the client to the server, and from server to the client. If there is one device in between, and this whole request is encrypted end to end, how this device can intercept, how this device can see that there is something coming into the picture. This device cannot see it. This device cannot able to mitigate the vulnerabilities what this maybe hacker is coming up with HTTP kind of request. In that case, this specific device should have the functionality that you need to onboard SSL certificate over here so that it can view the traffic, and if required, it can stop the vulnerable traffic. This traffic will not go to the end server at all. And that is where your full proxy is very important. Lot of other features also, IPv6 to IPv4, compression profile, encryption profile, layer 7 data modification. I will not go on those features in today's class because you are well aware we already talked about these features in the LTM part. But that is the full proxy. I would like to talk about something about the HTTP. So what is HTTP? Anybody?
It's a protocol that is for the communication over the internet, browsing
Yes.
the.
Yes. So anything we need to go over the internet, we use one protocol. Everybody is using, right? That is HTTP. HTTP stands for your hypertext transfer protocol. But I don't want to talk more about it. I wanted to talk more about the request. See, whenever client is going to the server, I am just eliminating the F5 in between. Okay, currently I am not talking about that. So whenever this HTTP request is going, HTTP, HTTPS, any, okay. This request should have couple of things, like there are couple of I will say methods, like get method. You should be aware, because if you are learning about ASM, you should be aware about these small terms. Get method. What get method is doing? Get method simply reading about the resource and giving the information to the client. Then post method. What the post method is? Anybody?
When you need to update anything or make a modification
Yes.
onto the web.
Can you explain again the get?
Get nothing. I will be telling you, don't worry. Okay? I will be showing you even the practical. So post is something like when you need to send something onto the website, like you are submitting the username, you are submitting the password, that is your post. So somebody is asking about the get. Don't worry. Let me tell you about the get. Give me a minute. So I am pressing Control plus Shift plus I. That is nothing. That is a software developer tool. It includes in your any of the browser. Because I am using Chrome, so it is showing you in the Chrome. Let us say I am opening one website. Let me open the NetMinion only. Okay, netminion.com. This is the resource on the somewhere in the cloud, and I am opening this resource through HTTP or HTTPS, whatever. When I am sending this request, there is lot of things you can see. You can see there are lot of consecutive requests also going on. but maybe let me make it bigger. Can you see this? When this request is going with some kind of method. And since currently we are reading about a resource which is on the cloud, the predefined default method is kept. Okay. Similarly, if I need to push something, that would be post. Probably, have you heard about the term API, guys? API?
Yep.
In API, whatever tool you are using, generally people use Postman, right? If you go to the Postman and if you see the methods, there are a lot of methods like connect method. You can see the option method, you can see the head method, you can see a lot of methods. So when you need to send some kind of request, when a client need to interact with the server, okay, it not only through the HTTP, but it can be through the Python. It can through the some kind of API software. So there, these methods will be getting used. So what I was trying to explain you earlier, that when you are interacting with your server through the HTTP, you should be aware what is the method. Let us say why I am talking about. Okay, let us say you are working on ASM. Your clients are using the API call, and your API call is using some method named as connect. And they are interacting with the server. Let me tell you, if you have a security policy, what is security policy? If you don't aware about it, it's all right. Security policy in the layman term is some set of rules, I will say, which will check either my request is okay or no. So when by default, if it is coming, my F5 will block it. Although the request is very genuine. And the reason is why, because I am using some kind of method which is not allowed. It is not allowed in my security policy. What I need to do, I need to aware about that, okay, there are some methods exist apart from the by default methods which are there in my security policy. And I need to allow those methods. If that method is through, my request can be going through from the client to the server and from the server to the client in a very efficient manner. So you should be aware about these small terms, like what are the methods. Don't worry, again, I will be going to talk about these methods later on also. Currently, I am just giving you the overview. Okay, I am not going through the complete thing. We will be going to talk about it later. Then you should be aware about the status code. Like if my request is going to the server and server is sending the response very efficiently. You have seen it like it is 200. Sometimes you seen 404. No. Sometimes you see the 302. What are these? These are the status code, and these status code explain about the request, I will say about the response, like either what I wanted to have it, what I wanted to receive from the server, am I receiving it or 302 sometime, not sometime, always stands for the redirection. How? If you remember, in LTM case, we have done something named as fallback host. What fallback host does is, if all of the pool member are down, instead of showing the blank page that okay, your request cannot be fulfilled, I can redirect it to some of the apology servers. In that case, if you will see the request, response is coming, it will be including a status code of 302. Let me show you. Okay, let me show you the response code also. If you see, okay, somehow it is showing you 301, but I need to check like why it is sending 301. Okay, it is sending from the cache. That is the reason. So if I will remove the cache, let me remove the cache. Let me remove everything. Is there any other thing? No. And let me find out again. Can you see this status code 200? Right? This is what I was talking about. So your status code 200 means that, okay, request is getting fulfilled. Your status code 300 means like it is somewhat likely to be redirection. 404 means the resource what you are trying to find out is not available on the server currently. Lot of other details also there, including there are a lot of headers. Okay, we will be going to talk about these headers. How to secure these headers, probably I will show you through the iRule. Okay, in the ASM, let me tell you, you can write down iRule also. Okay, it's not only LTM that you can run the iRules. In the ASM also you can run the iRule because it is also adhering the TMOS architecture. Then headers is something static or dynamic? No, your application team can create a lot of new headers also if some new detail need to be added on. It is a bit like you are playing with the HTTP payload. Okay, you can insert a new header as well. Then the complete payload, in case of payload, if there is some vulnerability, there is some errors, your ASM can catch. In the headers, there is some error, your ASM can catch. Okay, in your methods, there are some errors, probably your ASM will catch. So we will be going to talk about in ASM part, there is lot of things which we will be going to talk about. Okay, that how it will be working. Now, because we are talking about HTTP protocol, let us now talk about some of the, I will say, components of your URL. So URL, everybody is aware because we are using these things in our day-to-day life. But when you talk about URL, you can see there are some protocols. It can be HTTP, it can be HTTPS. Then abc.com or xyz.com, whatever. This is something named as host name, host address, or maybe host name, whatever you wanted to speak, you can speak like that. Everything after the host name is something named as URI. In the URI, there are a couple of the other portions like this slash, you can see this slash, this, whatever this slash is, this is named as your path, complete path. And this part, can you see this part? This is nothing but it is your file type. It can, if it would be the PDF, it would show you like .pdf, text.txt, png, any file type. Okay, these are named as file type. In the path, you can see the file type. Then the thumb rule is anything after the question mark include two things. It is named as query string, and query string include two things. One thing is the, anybody? We talked about it, or anybody aware?
Username.
So this is something named as parameter
value,
and the parameter has every time value, and there can be one parameter, there can be multiple parameters. So let me talk about again. This is something your protocol, HTTP or HTTPS. Then this is your host address. This is complete your path, and in the path, in the last, you can see after dot, like this is your HTML file. It can be PDF file, it can be XML file, it can be any file. And after question mark, this is known as query string, which consists of two things. One thing is parameter, second is value. Parameter, value. Value, there is two value probably of one parameter that can be. I will show you later on that how the parameter tampering can be done. I will show you the tampering that how the parameter tampering can be done. I will show you a very beautiful example. In that example, we have lot of two websites where we will be doing all of such kind of hacking, or probably I will do a lot of attacks from there. So on one of the website, there is an item. I am just giving you an example. This item, any item, let us say the computer, it is laptop. This laptop cost probably is 20,000, okay, USD or whatever. Through the client, we will open this website. This website will get open through the get method. Then what we will be going to do, when we will send that, okay, I want to buy it, and I will send my credit card information. Okay. This particular, can you see this value? This value should be stored in some kind of parameter. Let us say the parameter name is price, and price parameter is having the value 20,000. I will change it, okay, using some tool. I will be going to talk about those tools also. Don't worry, please don't be in hurry. I will show you, and I will make the value as 2 only. And when I send the credit card, the website will not deduct 20,000. It will not deduct 20,000, but only 2 rupees. And such kind of thing is named as parameter tampering. We are tampering the exact value of the parameter, whatever the value is there. Such thing happens, okay? And that is the reason why and how F5 ASM is able to track that, okay, the parameter should not be tampered, okay? So that thing we will be gonna check, not theoretically, but the practically also, okay? So that is how your URL consists of. Anybody has any doubt in this, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, let me proceed. Ambrish, wanted to ask something?
No,
Radhe, I have one question. What is the difference between next generation firewall and ASM?
Lot of differences are there. Okay. So when we will be doing, ASM part, you can see there is something named as attack signatures. Attack signatures. Even your Palo Alto and other applications have their own attack signatures. Okay. But the attack signature set, what F5 is providing in this particular module, is really robust. Not only attack signatures, there are n number of, I will say, the items and the entities which your ASM will get covered, which your next generation firewalls cannot be able to see. Like I was talking about parameter tampering. Let us say, even I will show you in the lab today. Okay, let me talk about that first over here. See, ultimately through the ASM, what we are doing, we are protecting application vulnerabilities. So what happened? I am just giving one more example. This is a client. This client is opening a website. In this website, this client role is only to access a particular area. But this client is very intelligent client. It able to read about the HTTP, the complete, maybe I will say the URL, and in the URL, he tempered the URL as such that he inserted some of the meta character. After that, the application granted him the admin role, which is not good. Yeah, not good. In such case, is this attack? Or is this a non-attack? No. What is this? This is something, there is a limitation in the application which our hacker is exposing. Such kind of thing also can be mitigated through the ASM. What kind of meta character should be allowed, and in the file type, in the URL, in the cookie redirection domain, or where it should not be allowed. Everything you can put over. Are you getting my point, Amrish?
Yes. And it is not possible with the next generation firewall.
Everything is not possible, but obvious. Otherwise, client will not pay such a huge amount to buy the F5. They have a very high, I will say, high sell product, or the license are very high in the cost. Okay.
Next generation firewall is basically like it's more futuristic. Let me just wanted to add something on top of it, because yeah, so like Palo Alto, if you talk about, they do have some additional features like app ID. You'll get the standard application signatures for that. But if you talk about the ASMs, it is more towards the web application for the web attacks. So all you will learn on the ASM is like more of how to protect the web attacks based upon HTTP and HTTPS. So the whole world of the ASM revolves around those two protocols, I would say. But on the other hand, next generation firewalls, like you can get a lot of features, like you can run a remote VPNs, you can do a decryption profiles, like to decrypt the SSL traffic, right? You have the application IDs, so a lot of things, but still the place of the next generation firewall is on the perimeter. However, place of this ASM, from the design point of view, it should be in the front of a web application just to mitigate the application vulnerabilities. So that's my 5 cents on this.
That's true. That's true. Let me talk about the design also. You put a very good point. One thing more.
I want to add something here, Mr.
Go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
As Mr. Sharma, he mentioned that next generation firewall has a lot of features as compared to ASM. So I believe it's very B2B. So every business have different requirements.
Sorry to interrupt you. They both are different products. All I'm saying is, right? So next generation firewall is a different product. It's a firewall plus with the capability of IPS. That's all.
Yeah.
But WAF, WAF is all together.
I believe it depends. Every business have different requirement. So load balancing features is also there, and also web attack. You can protect the web attacks. So although these features are available in the next gen firewall, but I believe it's depend to business. So every business has different requirement. So I believe if you have any doubt, I think we can clear it.
So and I think next generation firewall does not support the parameter tampering attack, and at the same time cookies poisoning attack.
Right. So let me tell you one more thing, guys. ASM cannot, replace everything. If you talk about the router is there, right? If you talk about the IPS solution, IDS solution, that is not completely, getting removed. Even people are putting Arbor solution also before the ASM. Okay. And in some case, when your application are the crown jewel applications, highly secured application, I would say, in that case, even before F5 ASM, there is one more layer of WAF. People used to take the Imperva WAF or maybe some another WAF. Okay, so they can have 2 layers of WAF also. So just to be very sure, when we are talking about the firewalls, firewall will be in picture before the ASM always when it comes to the designing part. ASM will be before, it will be get placed before the application servers. Okay, and the reason is the layer 3 attacks, layer 4 attacks, all other kind of attacks should be get mitigated in advance before even if it is reaching to the F5 ASM. As I started the class, this product is only for layer 7, not for any other layer. So that is how your designing part will also get matters here. Okay. So thanks. You have the good discussion regarding the firewalls, and these are the types. Maybe let me proceed. Okay, this is the response what we are watching out in our particular slide, where we can see that the get method was used in the request. There was a path, there was a file, there was some parameters and the values. There is a host, okay, host name, user agent. User agent generally are, this is the header, like I am just talking about some of the headers. So these are the standard headers. These standard headers are talking about like user agent. It generally talked about what kind of browser you are coming to. Okay. Then what kind of accept encoding you can have. Encoding bit like your request can be encoded if your web server supports to. By the way, gzip and deflate, both of these kind of I will say encoding schema that your F5 understands. Okay, then cookies kind of stuff is there. A lot of details are present in your HTTP request headers. These are the request headers. Server response, okay, it is 200, okay or no, what HTTP version you are using. All of those things is coming under the server request. This is your response header. Like in the response also, you will be having these kind of headers available. Okay, what kind of HTTP you have, okay, HTTP version. So there are, I will say your status line will be followed by a series of, series of these headers, which will go and explain about the request, including your cookies. So cookies, we have already talked about cookies, right? What is cookie? Anybody?
Cookie is a type of file, data file that is stored in the client.
Right. Yeah. Anybody else?
Cookies is basically a, sorry, go ahead.
Please go ahead.
So cookies is basically a HTTP header which has the backend information and the virtual server information.
So when we talk about the virtual server information, it is not always true, and the reason is that it come into the picture when you are. It is true also, but only in the case if you are using cookies persistence. But if you are not using the cookies persistence, this part can come directly through the server also. And when it is coming from the server, there can be n number of cookies, like session cookie. One of the cookies, session cookie. We will be going to talk about that if somebody is stealing your session cookie, they can steal your complete session. In that case, how ASM is able to understand that cookie is tweaked or cookie is changed. And in that scenario, we will be checking out that if cookie is modified, how my ASM is sending the support ID. Support ID is nothing but the violation. It is saying that no, this request cannot be go through. I am sending you the violation, And the way of sending the violation is sending some of the number, probably 10 to 20 digit number. Okay, 1, 2, 3, any number. That is named as support ID. This support ID has the information that, okay, why this request is low. So that is your cookie. And even in your cookie header, there can be people who can modify your cookie header very efficiently and can use the request as per their own one to steal some kind of data or maybe to modify some kind of data. Okay, that also happens. Yes. Anybody else wanted to talk about cookies?
I have a question and a bit of, like, as you said, my 5 cents about the cookies. My understanding about the cookies is like, it's a files basically or a server settings that's temporarily stored on your cache or on your disk, so that next time when you send a request, it will, the server understand what sort of request it is, and it's easy to, response or serve that request locally as well. Is that true?
That is true.
All
That
right.
is very
And
much true.
Okay, thank you.
What I
My
was
question.
trying to say is that cookie always contain the virtual server information. It's not always true.
Yeah, if your web server or application doesn't have a F5 in between, right? So then
even though if it has F5, even though if it has F5, even then this statement is not true. And the reason is because your F5 is not providing any information in the cookie.
Yeah, okay. We are not inserting any cookies on the request.
Yes.
And my question is like, how many types of cookies are there? Like
Multiple.
you said, session cookies.
It depends
Okay.
on your application. Your application can use cookies even for authentication as well. So it depends upon application to application. Like, okay, your application can be written as such that it will not send any cookie. That can also possible. It's not always that your cookie should be there only. It's not a must criteria. But the thing is, every application is running some sort of logic, because everyone here in the market are looking for the customer, and they should be aware about customer choice. They should be aware about what the customer is loving for. Okay, if customer is going for some sort of thing, then they just store that data in the form of cookies, so that if a customer is loving the mobile, this a customer when come to the website again, the same website, due to the cookies, that website mobile section will give them, more and more data, like, okay, such kind of discounts are running on, or we have such kind of new mobiles range which are here, okay, and you can buy. How this kind of intelligence is inserted? Using cookies, using JavaScript, using lot of other things, okay. But yeah, JavaScript, when I just talk about the JavaScript, even your ASM box use the JavaScript. And using the JavaScript, it can able to diagnose that data is coming from the same device or no. Even though, let us say, this device is keep on changing the IP address through the VPN. But there is some term named as device ID. Through the JavaScript, the people has introduced such an intelligence that they will be able to catch that, okay, on the hundred of I will say features, they will catch even the screen resolution size. Okay, so they will check all of those things through the JavaScript. So these are the application things, guys. But yes, since we are learning ASM, we now should be aware about the application as well. Okay, not much, but little bit, yes. Okay. Any other question from anybody?
Thank you.
Sure. So we will be going to talk about application components. Okay. After 5 minutes, let's take a quick break. Okay. 5 to 7 minutes, 5 to 8 minutes probably I will say. We will be going to talk about this and we will proceed further for this whole class. And those who are new to the class or maybe to the net minion solution, let us tell about the class curriculum. It is 2 hours of class, Saturday and Sunday. Okay. Approximately 20 plus hours of course, or maybe you can say 6 weeks of course, where we will be learning about the ASM, not theoretically, but practically also. You will get allocated with the lab. Okay, maybe let me show you the lab also before we leave for the break. Let me just open the lab. Allow me a minute. Everybody of you will get this lab access. Yes.
Mr. Ravi, we will not cover the GTM part.
Sayed, can you speak a little bit louder? Can you repeat again your question?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm asking that will we not cover the GTM part?
GTM?
Yes. In the
okay, maybe you need to be in touch with Zoya. We are running with the GTM batch also. Okay, that is a separate thing.
GTM will, I mean, the GTM will be covered separately.
Yes. Every module, LTM module separate, GTM module separate, ASM module separate. They are again 6 weeks of course.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, do not get confused. So probably we will be gonna talk about it. Maybe Zoya, please send him all the detail about the GTM, when we are starting in and how we are starting. So probably you can come into the GTM classes at that time.
Sorry, this particular lab, like we only have one ASM right here.
Yes, one
yeah.
ASM.
And what sort of? Yeah, I got it. And what sort of applications will be there? Like, is it only one type of web application?
There are two.
Two separate application or?
Yes.
Okay.
PHP option. Okay. And DVW.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
We will be putting attacks like directly. Okay. And we will be putting attacks through the ASM. Then we will apply the security policy here, and I will show you that how it is getting blocked.
Yep, and all sort of. Is it possible for you, like, if you can share the topics, what all we are covering in this 6 weeks, next 6 classes or 7?
So we will be gonna cover all of the blueprint of 303. Okay, so that we will be gonna cover, including your brute force, web scraping, credential stuffing, all of the topics from the scratch till the last. We will be gonna cover that. The DDoS
you
profile.
Do you have any list for that? Like you are showing this.
Yes.
Can you share on the screen, please?
Why not?
Thanks.
So if you will open the NetMinion solution, netminion.net, you can go to the advanced F5 advanced web. Okay.
Yep.
And go down. Can you see this download now? Just click over here and this will get downloaded. Okay. Where it is downloaded on my PC. Let me find it again. And let me open for you guys. I'm just showing you that you can download it for your own. Okay. And you can see that these are the topics whatever we are covering. Probably more than that, I will see and I will update this list. Okay.
Is
But
it latest one?
Even this list is also containing approximately all of the advanced topics. Yes, go ahead. Somebody wanted to say something?
So after that, after finishing the whole list, like we will be able to sit in the exam as well, right? It will covering all the exam topics. Yes.
So let me tell you one more thing. When we are preparing any of the syllabus, maybe I forget to talk about myself also. So I am also a working professional. Okay. Now, when I used to talk about any of the topic, or any of the course, even including CCIE Enterprise, Python, Wireless, Nexus, anything. Okay. I used to take 3 points into the considerations. Point number 1, whatever you are doing in your environment, you can able to, maybe I will take a name like migrations. You can able to perform the migration of that particular technology. Like here, if we are talking about ASM, then in your environment, if ASM security policy need to be deployed, you should be able to deploy it. That is one point of agenda, okay, for this particular program. Second is, you can crack the interviews. Okay, I would try to give you all sort of those questions which interviewer asked, or probably those things which interviewers try to tend to ask when ASM person come for the interview. Third is for the exam. So those three, I will say, the main focus area whenever we are doing any kind of course.
Yeah. Cool. Norris, thank you very much. Yeah, point 1 and 3 are important for me because we have environment, like we have a lot of VIPs where we have, you can say, a single common policy that's been applied to all of them, right? And so I want to make a separate policy for each application. So,
don't worry, I will let you know like what sort of issues, what sort of real-time problems that will appear in front of you, because you need to be rely on the application team. Okay, and sometimes your application team is also not aware about lot of things. So I will let you know like how you can overcome such kind of issues. Okay, because I am, as I told you, I am also a working professional, so I am aware about these kind of issues. So not only theoretically, practically also we will be gonna do all of these things.
Yeah, that would be great, because as of now, like we only have 2 policies, right? One with the 2 attack signatures. So one other one is with a lot of attack signatures. So whenever any application, they faces any issue, we are simply, removing the attack signature policy just to the baseline policy. So it is actually not a good approach in a long term if you're providing a WAF solution to any application. So that's why we are planning to spin up a new project and deploy a separate policy. I'm aware like it's more than like 200 application. It's gonna take a couple of years to get all the new policy drafted.
Not exactly. Probably we will be gonna talk about those also. Those things also.
All right. Cool.
It's not always 100%. You need not to do 100% in one, right? You can just do such a basic approach that your application is also secure, and even you have something. See, something is better than nothing, no? So
definitely.
Policy tuning, again, a very big topic. Policy tuning, it's for everybody who are doing or who would be gonna do the ASM part. That in the policy tuning, you need to spend a lot of time. But before that, at least you should be having some kind of security policy. You need to put it into the enforcement mode. we will be gonna talk about all of the do's and don'ts. Don't worry. Okay.
Cool.
Sooner or
Cool.
later in our classes. But first we need to talk about a lot of other things. Okay. Any other question from anybody?
All right. Thanks. That's all from me. Thank you.
Sure. Anyone else has any other question? No. Now, okay. Before starting in, Robin, one question. Are you interacting with Zoya already?
Yes. We are in touch with Zoya. So yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. I just wanted to get confirmed that either you are the same or it's all right.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about.
So Ravi, can you please explain cookies-based persistent before moving to the another topic?
Cookies-based persistence, yeah. So cookies-based persistence, again, this is the LTM topic. Okay. I will be probably not able to talk about
we are discussing about cookies. So
give me a minute, let me complete. So I cannot, talk about the complete stuff, but let me tell you the crux of it. Okay? The crux I will be gonna talk about. Mainly there are source-based persistence, in which if your device or if your request is coming with specific source IP, it should be going to one of the pool member. But when your client is using HTTP or HTTPS, or maybe I will say the browser, you can also use cookies-based persistence. In that case, what happened is there are three types that your LTM can insert it, named as LTM insert mode. LTM can rewrite it, named as LTM rewrite mode. Or LTM can sit passively, your server can send this information, maybe the passive mode. Okay, more modes are also there, hashing mode and all of those stuff. What happens, what is the main crux is, when your client will come, it will come with some kind of cookie. In this cookie, there is an encrypted, I will say, value is there, which is describing about either it need to go to the pool number 1 or 2 or maybe 3 or whatever pool member. Okay, and your request will be gonna go on the same pool member, and that is what persistence is. Is it okay?
Yes, thank you.
So that is how your cookies persistence will work. But yes, the rewrite mode, what happened, the passive mode, and the insert mode, probably we can cover those things in detail in the LTM class. Okay, let's talk about the application components. So this is a very generic terms, I will say. Whenever you are going to any of the application, this is the client, it is going to any of the application. Let us take a social website, Facebook. Okay, so when you are interacting with Facebook, you are interacting with the Facebook couple of the components. It can be web server, it can be application server, and it can be database server. Anybody would like to talk about these things? What is web server, what is application server, and what is database server?
Web is basically, I think, where we initiate or target our request to, right? The user interface, the user face. The application server is where the actual code is written or the application sits. And the database server is where we have all our database mapping for the users and everything. Where web interacts with the application and application interacts with the database servers for the transaction.
Right. Anybody else? No? Okay. So let me tell you, any application you say, any application, they will have minimum these three components: web part, application part and the database part. So first, let us understand the web part. Please be aware, whenever you are accessing any of the application, let us say abc.com, www.abc.com you are trying to reach. And this is sending you some kind of images, some kind of videos, some kind of files, let us say. But everything is static content, I will say, HTML content or any. That means everything is coming through web server. So web server is what? It is your first component where your browser will interact with that particular web application by sending your HTTP packet, and HTTP protocol will govern the communication between your browser and between the web server, and you will get what? HTTP reply, whatever you HTTP request you are sending. And this reply can contain only the static page, static page like HTML page, like your files, let us say the JPG file, let us say the images, I will say, or the videos, but everything static. So your web server will handle HTTP request and HTTP response. Any doubt in this? Web server is clear to everybody?
Yes.
Okay. Let's come to the application server, the second component. When we talk about the application server, it's not only that your application should be static. Okay, there can be n number of logics also, or there can be n number of things which generate some kind of dynamic content. As I told you, in the cutthroat market, there should be a software framework that transforms the data in such a form that whatever user looking for, this data is getting transformed on the basis of the user's like or unlikelihood. There is where application server will come into the part. Application server will enhance your interactive part of your website, and it can appear differently depending upon the different requests. The third thing is answer, if you would like to ask answer, like Facebook. In the Facebook, your Facebook friend circle is different. My Facebook friend circle is different. Or if you talk about the LinkedIn, your connections are different. My connections are different. Okay. If you talk about the banking thing, maybe different stuff for the different users. How that logic is getting applied? Because application server is also coming in between. Web server is common for all. The last part is the database. What is database? Whenever you need to save something, what sort of information you need to save? The very basic thing is, when you are doing the sign up, you put your username, you put your password, you put your email, you put your phone. Sometimes some applications require the credit card also. This information should be stored somewhere, no? Where it will get stored? It will get stored in the database server. So database server is the component where you store something. Each and every component will talk with each other. And when your client request comes, your client will talk with application server, web server, application server, and database. Okay, directly, indirectly, that we will talk later on. But why we are reading about these things? Anybody? Why I'm talking about these things in the ASM? Reason is, every component is vulnerable. Every component is vulnerable. And that is where your ASM is there to protect. Okay, let me show you something. But before showing that thing, let me introduce one more term about over here, that is SQL. Anybody aware about SQL, please?
It's a database server, structured query language.
Right. So web application, let us say in a single box. This customer is coming over here. This request reading from the database server. When they read it, they used to do in some of the language, and that language is SQL. Okay, structured query language, as you were saying. So this is the language of love between the database server and the web server. Sometimes what people can do is they can inject some attacks even on the SQL. They can do that. And by doing it, they can expose the database server. Let me show you. Let me show you it. Let me open first my lab PC. Make it bigger. Open my F5. Admin net minion. In your case, you need to put your own password. Probably you need to set up the lab from the scratch. So those who are already my old student, you are aware. But those who are not, I am talking about them. So you need to create it by your own self. So I have two of my application, PHP and DVWA both. Okay. Let me open them directly first, not through the web. I am opening directly. Password, maybe. Okay, this stored. DVWA directly and PHP option. Okay, directly. Now, before doing that, probably okay, let me know. So these are my two applications, okay, where I will be going to do hacking, and I will be doing a lot of attacks over here, and I need to mitigate those attacks through my F5. Let me tell you people that I am generating a SQL injection attack. This is a SQL query, and there are a lot of queries which you can find out over the internet. Okay, there are for free. You can able to see that there are a lot of queries. In the username, I am putting this query. In the password, I am putting nothing. Okay, ideally, how my application will get logged in? When I will put username and password both. But here, if I will just put go, can you see? I am logged in. And the reason why? Because it is tricking my database server. It is sending a query. That query is saying if 1 equal to 1, okay, and it is always true. Since it is always true, my database server will give me all of the username and password. Can you see? All the username, all the credit card information, all the email ID, all the telephone number is revealed. That is not good. Okay, and why it happened? Because I tricked it through the SQL injection attack. Okay, what are these attacks? Please ignore if you are not aware about it. We will be going to talk about OWASP top 10 in our coming classes, and there I will be going to explain about all of the attacks. Okay, but I am just giving you overview like how these attacks can be happen. But let me tell, let us say if I am going through, let us say, my F5, through my F5, probably there should be the, what happened? Okay, it is STT.
Just one question, Radha sir. It's Riaz.
Go ahead, Riaz.
This authentication is always done against this database server or the AD server?
In our case, it is database. We don't have any.
Normally on the web applications.
See, it's not bit like your network devices where you apply some kind of ICE in between ICE product, TACAX product, LDAP product, or such kind of thing. Okay. Maximum it is database only.
Okay. Okay.
In the application world, I will say.
Okay.
So if I will put go, can you guys see this is rejected? And rejected by whom? Rejected by your F5 device.
Yes,
and this is support ID what I was talking about. Don't worry, we will be going to talk about each and every bit and byte information, but I'm just trying to show you that how F5 can protect these kind of vulnerabilities. Okay, we not only these attacks, we need to expose, or we need to mitigate lot of attacks during our whole session. But I am just trying to give you overview how F5 able to find out even small things that okay, from my application, like whatever request that is coming to me, either it is vulnerable or not. Making sense? Any doubt to anybody? Okay, I hope no. Let's proceed. So we were talking about these specific terms, that there are 3 terms generally used, that is web server, application server, and database. And all of these are the vulnerable. And since these are vulnerable, F5 will come in between, okay, before client interact with these particular components, and F5 will see that if request is vulnerable or no. If it is not vulnerable, it is going through. It will go to the backend. If it is vulnerable, your F5 will not send it further. It will send a support ID. As I told you before, some time I showed you, right? The support ID will come, and this support ID is nothing, just some kind of digits, which will tell that, okay, your request is blocked. Why it is blocked? Probably we can check. Maybe let me show you. Okay, let me show you that even you can see why it is blocked. If I will go to the event logs, and let me show you one more thing. There is a tool, okay, we will be going to talk about this tool named as Fiddler. This is also a full proxy. You remember I was talking about that we can do the parameter tweaking and all of those stuff, right? We will be achieving those things using this tool. So let us say if I'm going to the PHP auction, not through it, probably let me go directly. Sorry, let me go through here, not directly. And HTTPS. Yes. And you see, everything is going through it. It is able to read about it. See, if you will just click on any of the part, okay, you can see each and every header. What is the header? What is the syntax view? What is the text view? What is the web view? Image view? Caching, cookies, authentication, everything is there. Okay. Even can you see here the web forms? The web forms have your, let me show you. Let us say that I am going to the toys, and let me go to fast food. It is $199. Yeah, $199. If I will say that, okay, I want to buy minion. Okay, probably I don't have this username and password, so it is not allowing me to send. Let me register. Netminion, password, let it be Netminion. Retype password Netminion, birth date any, and credit card number any. Submit. Let me now purchase some of the element. Electronics, consumer electronics, whatever, buy it, username, password, Netminion, and I am getting charged for 800 USD, right? But through this tool, even I can make changes into it. Let me show you. Let me go to the home and electronics, whatever. And before buying it, I can go here. I will be gonna talk about these things, okay, later on, don't worry. I'm just, stopping the request. Before going, it should be stopped over here. Can you see this? Buy request is getting stopped. What is price? 800. I can convert it 8, and I say, okay, just go now. Probably let me break this rule now, disabled. But if I will put my price here and say, okay, it's not showing you, but it will be there for 8 USD only because we change the parameter. That is something named as parameter tampering. Even this parameter tampering is not able to catch by our F5 ASM. Okay, why? Because security policy is not tuned completely. So we need to tune that security policy up to such a level that we can have each and every mitigation in the place. But that is how we need to be playing with. We will be gonna play around, like, not only for parameters, but lot of other entities. Am I audible, guys?
Yes.
Okay. I hope you are getting the sense, not completely, but little bit foundation I am trying to build it up, so that when we talked about the security policy, when we talked about the attack signatures, you guys should not be in the case that, okay, what are these? Okay. Again, if I will ask about why ASM is required for layer 7 protection, it is a WAF, okay, web application firewall, which inspect your ingress and egress, both traffic. Also, there is one term like compliance. We are talking about compliance. Please do remember your ASM product maintains some of the compliance. Generally, PCI DSS. Anybody aware about it? PCI DSS.
Yeah, it's a payment method, compliance method.
Payment card industry. Okay. Data security standard. So this says that whenever you are saving your credit card, even your web server is interacting with your database server, it should not be into the clear text. It should be into the encryption way. So you guys are aware that when you use your banking application, even your account number or some sort of information get masked. Okay, why? Because they need to follow up the PCI DSS compliance. F5 also adhere PCI DSS compliance. We will be gonna talk about a feature named as data guard. Very small feature it is, but yeah, we will be gonna talk about it. How data guard is able to, achieve these compliance in our case. Then there is one more compliance named as HIPAA, HIPAA. HIPAA. Anybody aware about HIPAA?
HIPAA for the health, I think.
Health information.
Health, yes. Health. So this is your health related. Okay. So HIPAA also required your data guard. Okay. So those things we will be gonna talk about. Then there is something named as I told you, OWASP top 10. We will be gonna talk about OWASP top 10. Anybody aware about OWASP top 10? What is OWASP top 10?
Sir, it is communities that define some policies for the application attacks.
So our tomorrow class is purely dedicated on OWASP top 10. We will be going to talk about what is OWASP top 10, what are their top 10 vulnerabilities, what are those vulnerabilities stands for, and we will be going to talk about each and every vulnerability in tomorrow's class. Then how to mitigate these vulnerabilities? Again, during the ASM classes, we will be going to talk about these things. So practically we will be creating our own attack signature set as well. We will see how attack signature set is mitigating a lot of OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities, how logging profile is important, how all of such profiles are important. We will be going to talk about in our next classes. But tomorrow our class is dedicated for OWASP top 10. Okay. Then let me proceed up. Application flow. So how the application flow? Let me talk about this. In your application, let me just quickly forward to the last page. In our application, this is how the flow will be maintained. Okay. Any request that is coming will go to the virtual server. Virtual server will see either it has the layer 7 policy or no. If it has the layer 7 policy, it is checking that, okay, ASM is enabled or no. ASM is enabled. It will check the request is valid. If request is valid, then default pool will be there. If request is not valid, then a violation will occur and a support ID will get generated, and that support ID will be sent to the client directly. Now, before discussing all those things, I wanted to ask from you people, who is aware about LTP, local traffic policy? This is actually not even the LTM term, but yeah, in LTM, I usually used to teach it. Local traffic policy.
I think this is same kind of iRule, right?
Yes, you are right.
Yeah.
See, can you, if you will see to the policies, can you see the policies?
Yep.
This is your LTP. Here your LTP comes from. Now what is this? Let me tell you. Okay, let me tell you in the theory first. Local traffic policies. Anybody here who are not aware about the route map in the networking term? Are you guys aware about route map?
Yep.
Okay, who is not aware about route map, please? I hope everybody. So route map is a way like you can call multiple of the match statement and you can have multiple of the set statement. Like if you don't want to apply only one ACL and you want to multiply multiple ACL, you usually create a route map. Similarly, the local traffic policy. Okay. I'm just trying to give you a metaphor. This LTP does what? LTP has set of rules. One rule can have match statement. Against that match, there can be some action or some set statement. Okay. Rule 1. Rule 2, match statement and a set statement or a action statement. So this is very easy, bit like your GUI thing. Like if you need to do the redirection through your iRules, you need to catch the HTTP request. You need to see that, okay, if it is HTTP, it should be redirected to HTTPS or blah, 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 whatever you want to do. But in LTP, the case is literally different. Okay, maybe I need to, reboot the box. It's all right. Let me check if I can show you. Otherwise, I will show you tomorrow.
So basically in iRule, we were using the programming language, which is PCL, but in policies, we are not using any programming language.
So there is one, one of our video very loved by people. Okay, maybe if you will go to the YouTube and search for the net meaning. Net meaning. Where is playlist? I wanted to show you that video. F5 ASM. And can you see this? Bye bye iRule. Very loved by people. Okay. Here I am talking about the complete, LTP process, like what the LTP is. I am just giving this link. Probably if you get some time, okay, go through it. Good video. Okay, you can able to learn a lot of things. Or you can just write down bye bye iRules. You will get this video. Okay. Here I am just going to talk about what the policy is, how to create the policy, iRules versus policy. All of those details I am showing to you through the practical also. So maybe good to watch if you can see. If you have some time, please watch it out. Okay, there is some error. Probably I need to reboot this device. Okay, I will reboot it later on. So okay, maybe what I am trying to tell you is, whenever you are applying any security policy on your virtual server, when you are applying a security policy, whenever there is a LTP get assigned, okay, local traffic policy get assigned on the virtual server. This LTP says that any traffic which is coming to the LTM module should go via ASM module first, whatever policy they are applied is. If that policy is saying that the traffic is good, only then it should be go to the pool member. Otherwise, no. Okay, I will show you this practically tomorrow. Okay, but yeah, that is the sense, whole complete sense, what why I am talking about LTP in the ASM part. Is this thing clear to everybody?
Yes.
Yep.
I will show you. Okay, tomorrow I will show you. So for today, I hope good to wrap it up.